Practicing to a metronome really can be bad for your time, believe it or not. And today we're going to break down why. If you felt like your timing isn't good, you're rushing or you're dragging, you're unstable and you're shaky, and so you just feel like an amateur, then today's lesson is for you. What if instead you could play with such solid time that you sound like a total pro and other musicians want to play with your groove? You absolutely can, but first we have to bust the myth that metronome practice alone will get you there. I'll break down for you today the 10-minute timing challenge, which will help your time and feel to become smooth, solid, and professional. Today's going to be counterintuitive and pretty interesting, but a lot of fun. You can do this. Let's dive in. Years ago, I knew my time was shaky even though I was practicing to a metronome all the time. And maybe that's you. Maybe you practice a bunch to a metronome. I've had students who are constantly practicing to a metronome, but yet you take the metronome away and their playing is messy and their time is all over the place. And that was where I was realizing I was constantly afraid of rushing and afraid of dragging because I had realized, and it had been pointed out to me times before from others around me, that I had sped up and I didn't realize it, or I was dragging and I hadn't realized it. And so that was the scary thing to me. I was afraid of sounding like an amateur as a result because I felt like I didn't have control over my timing. And so I did something, maybe you'd think this is counterintuitive, but I'll break all this down for you. I decided to start recording gigs I was playing. I had this digital recorder that I would put under my drum stool on gigs, and I would just record that. I would record the whole gig and I would listen back. And on these gigs, there was no click. I wasn't playing to a metronome or anything. But I'll tell you in a minute what I noticed doing this whole process of recording gigs that completely changed my time ability and changed my drumming for the better. See, I was believing the myth that if I practice to a metronome enough, my time will become very solid. And that makes sense that your time should become solid when you're playing to a metronome. Like it makes sense. We're told by drumming academia, practice to a metronome, practice to a metronome. The metronome should be your best friend. You hear that all the time. The metronome should be your best friend. Be using it all the time. But honestly, practicing to a metronome won't help your time any more than bowling with the gutter guards up will help you to get a strike. Practicing to a metronome won't help you any more than training wheels will help you to balance on a bicycle. Does this make sense? Can you kind of tell where we're going here? I like metaphors. I don't know if you love metaphors or not. My wife makes fun of my metaphors, but I think metaphors are so helpful. Jesus used metaphors when he taught, and so I feel like they're a good thing. I think they're helpful towards creating mental pictures here. And so if you can kind of get the picture, the idea here is, well, we can use the metronome, but then as soon as we remove the metronome, we're back to where we started. So how do we actually solve our time? Because that's the whole deal here. Practicing to a metronome, it might help you while you're playing to the metronome. Your time might be better while the metronome's there, just like while the training wheels are there, you're not going to tip over. While the gutter guards are there on the bowling alley, you're not going to roll the ball into the gutter. But as soon as you get rid of those things, what happens? And so my question for you right now for some self-reflection is, let's say you've been practicing to a metronome a bunch. How do you feel like that's working out for you? Is your time getting better? Or do you still feel naked and afraid when there's no metronome there? Do you still feel totally alone and shaky and unstable? That's exactly how I felt. So let's help you move past this today. Hey, before we get into that, if you are a beginner struggling with fills, and hey, there's a lot of common threads here, timing and fills. If you're struggling with fills and you want to go from clunky, boring, repetitive fills to studio-worthy and creative fills that you effortlessly transition and flow in and out of and do all this in just 4 short days, come hang out with me for the Play Effortless Fills Challenge. This is a live workshop that'll get you to where you're playing effortless fills that you're creating and improvising on the fly. This will totally change your drumming and be one of the most transformative things that you can do this year. And so come and hang out. Click the link below in the description to find more info and the dates of the next Play Effortless Fills live workshop. If you know this is for you, come. It's going to help you a ton. Okay, it's time to take the 10-minute timing challenge. So I kind of alluded to this last week, and I told you we were going to take what we did last week and go a little deeper with it. If you missed last week's lesson, that's fine. Basically, what we did last week was we talked about playing something for 10 minutes and noticing what happens. So we're going to piggyback off of this. We're going to do the same sort of thing, but we're going to get more specific with what we're paying attention to and what we're actually doing as we play the thing, whatever it is, for 10 minutes. So 5 steps. This is going to be nice and simple, and you're kind of going to make this your own. You're going to use this framework here to practice whatever the thing is you need to practice. And so don't just copy whatever I do, but take the thing that you need to work on and plug it into this framework. So step one, pick something simple that you're working on. Keyword simple. This might be the money beat like we did last week. You might know that, okay, hey, I failed the money beat challenge, so let me do something like the money beat. So you could just do that. Or some other really simple groove like. So take a simple groove or singles. That's what you saw me playing at the top of the lesson. Maybe you need to get better at singles around the drum set, like. Maybe that thing is what you need to focus on right now. So I want you to pause and think, okay, what is something simple that I know I'm struggling with? Singles around the kit. Could it be an alternating hi-hat groove? Maybe you're struggling with this. Or maybe it's a one-handed 16th groove. Maybe it's some sort of tom groove. Whatever it is, pick something that you're kind of struggling with, that you need to get better at here, and that you know your time is shaky when you play it. Now the key is it's got to be simple, not something that's really hard that stretches you, but something that's simple. And so literally it might just be singles. You might just want to do alternating singles on the snare, a simple groove, a money beat thing, something with a simple kick pattern. But pick something simple that you're working on that you know you can use to work on your timing and test your timing. Step two, record yourself. This is important. Record yourself playing the thing, whatever it is, over and over for 10 minutes without stopping. So we did 10 minutes without stopping last week. That's the goal. But this time we're recording ourselves. Now, for some drummers, this is the hardest step. And so many of my students get tripped up on this. And I'll tell them, all right, I want you to go record yourself this week. And we come back the next week and they're like, I wanted to. I came this close. And so many times they don't. There's this mental block that stands in our way of recording ourselves. And what is it? That fear of failure. It's that knowing that we're going to have to admit that we sound bad. None of us want to ever admit that we're bad at something, right? But you can't get good at something without being bad at it first. I was terrible at the drums. The first time I ever played the drums, I shared this story with a group of students the other day that the very first time I played a drum set was in my local music store. I was probably 10, 11, 12 years old. And finally got my mom to take me to the music store because I just wanted to play a drum set. I'd wanted to play the drums as a kid, and I never touched a drum set. And so the girl working at the music shop handed me some sticks, and I sat down, and I'm like... And I remember it was so loud, it kind of took me back. I was like, whoa, okay, that's loud, and set the sticks down. And the girl working the music store looked at my mom, who was standing there, and she was like, he has some potential. My mom was like, uh-huh. So it was that moment of like, everybody's like, okay, this kid does not have what it takes to become a drummer. Oh, well, hopefully he gets it out of his system and won't become a drummer. And so left the music store. What happened? I still became a drummer. But what is the point? The point is that I was terrible. And everybody starts off terrible on the drums. You're not going to come out of the womb doing this. Any child prodigy started off badly and just learned it quickly and was in a musical environment where the parents were probably coaching them and teaching them. Everybody out there who's gotten good at the drums started off bad. So we've got to be bad first. So if we can realize that and we can embrace the sounding bad, that makes the recording ourselves a little bit easier. We've just got to face the truth. So record yourself playing whatever it is over and over for 10 minutes without stopping. No metronome. Now this is the important thing. No metronome. So just totally naked. Maybe you've got your in-ear, if you have drum mics, you've got the in-ears on, you're hearing your drums through your ears like I am right now. Or maybe it's not even that, just the naked ear in the room, but no metronome, no song, no play along, anything, just you and your drums. Playing the thing over and over again, and you're recording yourself with your phone, your iPad, whatever, and you're playing it for 10 minutes. Set a timer. Now, once you've done that, step 3, listen back to the recording and see what you notice. Can you tell if you rush or drag? Can you tell if you get louder or softer? What all can you observe? And this is where, if you're new to the drums, you might be like, Steven, I don't know what to listen for. Just try to ask yourself, like, how does this sound? How does this feel? Does it feel shaky? Does it feel smooth? Am I impressed with how I sound? Am I frustrated by what I'm now hearing? You could even try to turn on a metronome with your phone and try to line up a metronome with your playing. That's what I'll do. And I'll notice, oh, I slowed down a little there. Otherwise, I wouldn't have noticed that. But I tried to line a metronome up and it didn't work. And so listen to that whole 10 minutes. And what you can also do is listen to a little bit at the beginning of the 10 minutes, then skip forward a few minutes, and skip forward another few minutes, and listen, what are the differences? Because your playing is constantly, there's going to be an ebb and flow. You might gradually rush, gradually drag, gradually get louder, softer. Things might change. And you're going to notice them more if you listen a little at the beginning, skip to the end, skip around, and see if you can notice those differences. So really, that's what it comes down to. Listen back to the recording and see what differences and changes you can notice. How is your playing changing throughout? Because we want to identify what those things are. Prior to this point, ignorance was bliss. You didn't know what was going on. You're ignorant of whatever's going on in your playing. But now, if you have a tendency to go, and speed up, well, now you know it. There's no longer the blissful ignorance. You know what's happening. You know the truth. And this is an incredibly powerful point here, a pivotal moment in your playing, a point that you should celebrate, and we should congratulate you because, number one, you've recorded yourself. Number two, you even went back and listened to it. You faced the painful truth, but now you've identified, here's what I sounded like at the beginning. Here's what I sounded like at the end of the 10 minutes. What are the differences? I know that I rushed, or I know that I dragged, or I know I got louder or softer, or this thing changed, that thing changed. Write those things down. Now you're ready for step 4. Get back on the kit and correct the mistakes. You now know your tendencies. That is a really powerful piece of knowledge there. You know your tendencies, so you can make the corrections. Because here's the deal. When you are practicing with a metronome, you don't have the chance to mess up. Right? Are you following me? So you don't have a chance for your timing to mess up, really, because it's always there guiding you. Just like if you hurl the bowling ball down the lane and it bounces back and forth, ricochets back and forth between the gutter rail things you got up, and you get a strike. Yeah, I got a strike. You don't have a chance to actually practice rolling the ball straight when you've got that safety net. Likewise, the training wheels on the bike. You don't have a chance to actually practice balancing on the bike if the training wheels are there. At some point, you got to get rid of the gutter guards. You got to take the training wheels off. You got to actually face the challenging thing and figure it out. And so that's what we've got to do here. That's why I asked you earlier, if you've been practicing a bunch to a metronome, but your timing is still bad, how's that working out for you? It wasn't working out well for me, and so that's why I had to make some changes. You will build better timing practicing not to a metronome, but going through this process. So we've gotten back on the kit here in step 4. We know our tendencies. So if we know, okay, when I play the money beat, I tend to get louder as I go, and I tend to get faster. Let's say we start off right here. And then by the end of it, we're right here. Maybe we got louder unknowingly, so now we can focus and we can say, all right, I'm going to keep my dynamics the same. I'm going to listen to how I'm playing. Maybe you realize you sped up. Okay, I'm going to make sure I don't speed up. Maybe you're doing singles around the kit. Maybe you realize your left hand starts to get a little wimpy and weak as you go. Maybe it starts to rush a little bit, or maybe it starts to get quiet. You notice those differences, so now you know to target them. You know what to pay attention to. You know what to fix. Good practicing is fixing problems and fixing mistakes. As soon as you make that mental shift, this is totally a mindset thing. That's why a lot of these lessons lately, it's not all playing. It's not all drumming. I always get the comments on these videos of people saying, hey, you should be playing more, get to the point, play more. If that's all we do, if all we do is get to the point and play more, you're going to miss the point. Because the point here is you've got to make these mental shifts and you've got to make these decisions to practice differently if you want to get a different result. Because what you've been doing hasn't been working. And so if all I do is feed you licks and feed you exercises and play a bunch of stuff and say, do this, you're not going to grow. And so we've got to go deep with this. If you want to master the drums, you've got to patiently go deep in a committed, dedicated way, like we also talked about a few weeks back. Committing to the long haul and saying, I'm going to commit to this result and I'm going to do whatever it takes and I'm going to stick with it. That's how you grow, and that takes patience. And so to the commenters who are like, these videos are too long, Steven, if you can't sit through a 20-minute video that's going to really help you grow on the drums, unfortunately, I don't think you're going to master the drums. And so you've got to be patient. You've got to be willing to be a sponge, absorb this stuff, digest this stuff, and take action with me. So what is step 5? Step 5 is repeat this entire process every day. And kind of like what usually happens is we kind of miss that step where we do this thing and we do it once. And you're like, Steven, I did it one time and I identified the issues, but my timing's still bad here a month later. Well, how many times? You only did it one time? Okay, you got to do this consistently. You've got to do this every day and regularly. Make this a habit. And so record yourself all the time. If you can record yourself playing at church, for instance, let's say you play at your church and there's no metronome in your ear, record that and use that as your analysis. Otherwise, just make recordings of you jamming with a friend, playing with a band, rehearsal, whatever, just you playing in the room. Doesn't matter what it is, as long as you're recording yourself when you're not playing to a metronome, then analyze it, make the fixes, work on intentionally fixing those things. So what I did back when I was recording those gigs years ago, I would go back and I would listen and I would notice, oh, at that spot in that song, I always rush. Oh, at that spot in that song, I always drag. So once I knew that, going into the gig the next time, I made the mental notes. All right, I'm going to make sure I stay steady right here. That's huge. Like, that's the biggest thing you can do. And it all starts with recording yourself. You have to take the scary, bold step of hitting record and the even scarier step of listening back and admitting your faults, admitting your imperfections. You got to sound bad in order to sound good. So here's what this will help you do. We always need to know what is the big end thing that's going to happen here. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. What is going to happen if you do this daily? If you stick with this, you're going to play with better time, obviously, which is huge. You're going to sound better, and you're going to play really well with others because you're going to have a reliable, solid groove that feels good and that other musicians can depend on, and you're not going to be worrying about time anymore. You'll have confidence and certainty that your playing is solid. I mean, what would that do for you? Imagine being confident, like knowing, hey, my playing is solid, my time is good. So you're not worrying about time anymore. And so you no longer fear the metronome or the lack of the metronome. Some drummers get scared having to play with a metronome. They're afraid they can't stay with it. Maybe that's you. Well, now your timing is naturally good, so you can more easily stay with the metronome. And because your timing is naturally good, if there's no metronome, your timing is still good, right? This is a win-win in either scenario, whether you've got to play at church to a click and tracks, like I do every Sunday, or you're playing a cover gig with no click and nothing. Either way, you're going to know what good time and feel feels like instead of having to try so hard. This is what we ultimately want to do. And again, this is a big mindset shift. We're changing our thinking here on this, but this is critical. We have to be thinking as drummers, how does this feel? So if we know what good time and good feel feels like, then we don't need to worry about the minutia anymore. If we look back at Jeff Porcaro, for example, one of my favorite drummers, I think one of the greatest drummers that ever lived, I think as he was recording Rosanna, I doubt he was thinking, oh, I need to make sure these ghost notes feel right. Oh, is this smooth? Let me make sure the kick drum's locked in. No, Porcaro's not thinking about all these intricacies of the Rosanna shuffle, as intricate as that groove is. Instead, he's thinking, does this feel good? How do I make this feel good? You get to a level in your playing where that's the question you have to be asking. Once you can teach yourself what good timing and good feel feels like, this all gets easier. And the recording yourself daily and listening back is a massive step in that direction. So, question for you, have you recorded yourself in the last month? Time to be honest. If your answer is no, it is time. This is how you grow. And maybe you have recorded yourself, but it's been sporadic. I want you to record yourself regularly. It is as easy as going to voice memos on your iPhone, hitting the red button. Or you can make a video, even better. But it doesn't matter. Either way, we just need audio. Make audio recordings. Do it on your Apple Watch. Do it on your phone. Do it on your iPad. Whatever device you have. It is 2026, and it has never been easier to record yourself and even video yourself. And so do it. It's going to help you a bunch. All right. This is one of those lessons where, just like the last couple of weeks, this is all about how are we going about this whole thing of mastering the drums. The how is very important. And so if you trust me on this, if you take action on this, you're going to grow a ton. All right. Today's been a lot of fun. Be sure to come to the fills challenge if you feel like your fills are boring, clunky, awkward, sloppy, repetitive, all those things that are not good. If your timing is shaky going into and out of fills and you feel like your transitions are bad and you can't flow smoothly in and out of fills, you have no idea what to play or how to play it, and it's just a mess. If fills are a mess for you, let's honestly admit that. Come to my Play Effortless Fills live workshop so that you can be playing studio-worthy fills that you're effortlessly flowing in and out of and you're creating them and improvising them on the fly. And you've got confidence where maybe there once was none. That's a huge deal, and you can do this in just 4 short days. So come hang out, the link's below. Find out more info and the dates of the next live event. I will see you on the next lesson. Stay non-glamorous as always. Know that you can do this.